Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is heal, recharge, and grow. So I've had the videos on taking action and the video before that of getting your mind right. The third step in the three-step process to leaving your wife is heal, recharge, and grow. That's the last step, and that's where the real fun is. That's where your life starts to, man, it really gets good. But you got to do those other steps first. You got to get your mind right and screw up your courage enough to leave her, and then you got to take the action and do it. And then there's all kinds of other actions, and there's probably going to be some follow-up actions, and I get into that. But the heal, the recharge and grow, this is the fun part. This is where your life just gets fantastic and where the happiness happens. But it's going to take some time, because that's the first step, is healing. Man, when I left my wife, I was just totally exhausted. I did a lot of sleeping. I started going to bed early. Started sleeping in on the weekends. I started taking naps whenever I got a chance. It took me months of just sleeping more to start to feel better. And then there was quite a bit of discussion with my family about what she put me through. There was the healing. I had to tell them, what was going on, because prior to this, I didn't confide in anybody. I didn't tell anybody what was going on. I didn't want my family to hate her. She was my wife. I wanted them to love her. So I couldn't tell them about the abuse she was putting me through. But afterwards, I started to open up. I started talking to my dad and my mom and my brother and my sister, and especially my dad. And that really helped. And I started getting together with my old friends again, and I started taking time for myself and doing things for myself and recharging and trying to feel better again. Because when you're going through a big ordeal, you're not going to feel that great. So that's where the healing and the recharging, and then you can start doing good things for yourself. I joined a gym, started working out, started making sure I slept enough, start eating the way I wanted to eat, not just what she fed me. Started to enjoy life. You see, I started to recharge. And then, certainly it wasn't all roses at that time. She was still very difficult, and she was difficult for many years, and I had to actually take even more firmer steps years later to firmly get her out of my life. I had to get my mind right again, and then take action again, and then heal and recharge from all of that again. So it isn't just a one-time thing. You may need to go through that three-step process multiple times. Maybe you might have to do it as many times as necessary. But trust me, if you do it, it will work, because you'll keep up-leveling your life until you're so happy that not really much can knock you down anymore. So then that's where the growing comes in. After you've had a chance to heal and recharge and start to build yourself up and to get your mind saying, where you're not going to tolerate. So, for example, I wouldn't tolerate 5 seconds of verbal abuse from anyone now, whereas when I was married to her, I was getting verbally abused for like 5 years. You see the difference? Now I don't tolerate any verbal abuse, and I don't get involved with people who would do that, and I steer clear of people who might have those tendencies, and people just naturally treat me well all the time now. I've created myself to be a person who doesn't deal with that, and I don't. You, on the other hand, you're probably getting verbally abused by your wife on nearly a daily basis. The only times that you don't, is when she's not there, you're too busy to see her. And those, like if you were like me, the times when you weren't by your wife, those were the sweetest. You know, you probably take excuses to work later and to avoid her at all costs. Well, that's a cue, right? So anyway, getting back to the growing, well, now you have a chance to live your life how you want to live it. I live my life almost exactly how I want to live it, and every day I start looking for more ways to live it even better. I have the great relationship with my kids. In fact, they went through the same process that I did. They, you know, when I left my wife, they stayed with her. And I, you know, kept in contact with them, and she tried to separate me from them, but, you know, that didn't work. Eventually, my son and daughter both ran away from her to be with me. And now we have a great relationship. The kids are doing fantastically well. They even get together with their mother, and but you know, I don't even want to. We don't even have to talk about her. It's irrelevant to any more of our lives about one person. Now the only person that matters to my life is me, and what I can do, and how I relate to the people around me. Because I got my ex, you know, firmly out of my life. I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore. I've grown past it. I do the things I want to do. I lift weights, I travel, I go out on the town, I go dating other women. I have good relationships with my kids, my family, my friends. I meet new people. I do things. I've changed jobs a few times. Everything is like just like a magical life. I never would have believed that life could be so good back then. Back then, I was borderline suicidal. I was certainly henpecked and miserable. Life can be good once you get past that misery. So, I'll let you go. That's all for now.